What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Supercoach podcast. Hope you're doing absolutely amazing and gearing up for the start of round two tonight with the Broncos and Parramatta Eels. This could be an absolute whitewash. So we're going to get into captains and just a bit of an update of my team, what I'm planning for this week. And the reasons being, before we get into everything, if you aren't a part of the Rage Traders 1K League, it's $1,000 up for grabs. Completely free. All you have to do is literally be a subscriber to the YouTube Rage Traders. Very, very simple. Get onto that, get it done, and essentially, if you come first, you're getting $1,000. Now, the code for that is 739499. That's 739499, and yeah, good luck. So let's get into my team and what I'm planning this week. So just going through my team just quickly: Reed Marnie, Brandon Smith, Payne Haas, Trey Mooney, Colin Matangi as my FRF 3, 2, whatever you want to position it as. I have Arama Howe, and then I have Yo Couchman, which is Toby, Noah Martin, Fafita, Colhoun, Lasardi in my 2RF, and then I have Sam Walker, Ethan Sanders, Purdue and Pezzett, Farnworth, Iro, Latrell Mitchell, Makasini, Leo Chester, 2, and Fa'alogo, Kinney, and Carrigan. The reason why I'm giving you that information is not for the, I guess, people watching on YouTube, more for the people listening on audio, because at least you know what I'm working with there. But yeah, let's get into what I'm planning this week. And I've actually come to a decision of not doing any trades. Now, the biggest decision I've had all week is, do I trade Jesse Colhoun? Now, at the moment, 6,977 people have traded out Jesse Colhoun. But I think 6,977 people, a majority of those have done that because they either didn't have Lasardi or they didn't have Noah Martin. Now, some of those people might have gone to Couchman from that, but I wanted to explain why I'm not doing that. And I've actually been thinking about that over like 4 days, literally. I'm like, should I do it? Should I do it? I've put it in. It looks good. Okay, so there's a multitude of reasons why I'm not trading Colhoun to Ryan Couchman. One is because there is no guarantee that you can tell me that Ryan Couchman is going to be the next best 2RF cheapie in terms of what I have in my team already. I already have Lasardi and I already have Martin. Now, yes, he has a negative break even, but they played in Vegas where the whistle was extremely less blown because it's Vegas, and it also went into Golden Point. So that favors him even more. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a bad pick whatsoever, but with what I have, I don't have Helam Lukey. I don't have Ryan Couchman. I don't have Hamish Stewart. I would prefer to wait one more week. Now, in that one more week, I know the likelihood is very slim, but there is a chance that Colhoun actually does perform quite well because he's versing the Penrith Panthers. I'm anti-potting here because, again, he's someone who is likely to be a guaranteed price riser on top of that. And he could snag something. You just don't know. Now, if that happens, I'm essentially ahead of the competition in terms of Jesse Colhoun. 7,000 people trading him out is amazing. I'm not saying it's a bad trade, but the way my team looks, I would rather, and I think I'm coming from this point, you can't have everyone in your team. You can't have every cheapie. And that, for my 2RF, is exactly how I'm attacking it. I will go to the 2RF that is going to make me the most money. Now, if Helam Lukey comes out and drops 110 or another 95 or an 80, I immediately think to myself, I'm just going to go to Helam Lukey from Jesse Colhoun, fade Ryan Couchman. I've got Noah Martin, and if Lasardi next week then gets delisted from the team, put onto the interchange, or just something crazy happens with another 2RF, then I can look at Ryan Couchman if he still looks good. But what I'm trying to say is I'm using Jesse Colhoun as leverage to have a guaranteed trade where I'm going to make money. after the second week, rather than possibly going to Couchman where he might only get 30 to 40 minutes. And then I've lost the guaranteed price rise from Colquhoun. Now, the best situational scenario for me is that Jesse Colquhoun gets a 50, a 55 against Penrith. It's a grindy match. Maybe he plays a couple more minutes. Maybe an injury happens and he gets slotted in again. And all of a sudden, I've anti-potted for free. I've got someone who's still guaranteed to make me cash for free. I'm not wasting a trade, and I haven't lost anything for it. So that's exactly my positioning. Now, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is 100% true. I'm just saying that's the way I'm attacking it from the safest point of angle, I guess. Now, I think the counter argument to that is that if I don't do this trade and Couchman comes out and pops another 60, I'm a step behind because it's a trade out. Now, on top of that, if that happens and Lasardi doesn't get named, for example, I can go Lasardi to Couchman. Now, I might just have to sit there and be like, okay, that's fine. I'll go Colquhoun to Ryan Couchman next week, or I might just fade it if the score is meh, or I think Colquhoun is going to make a similar price to him or just a bit less. And I'll be like, cool, I've lost 20, 30 grand, but I've saved the trade. So that's my thinking there. The two biggest pain points for my team, and this might be for a lot of you guys, is I'd say out of everyone in my team, I'm really, really worried about, well, I shouldn't say worried, but the biggest cause of concern, I'm not going to really talk about Peasant, but KL Iro and maybe Purdue. I'm really worried about how and Sam Walker, to be honest, those three. The reason I'm really scared about Sam Walker is not because of him as a player. It's more because of the draw. Yeah, I mean, I know that they have, South this week. South's defense wasn't too flash hot. They gave up 30 points to a Dolphins team. The more concerning thing is the bye. I think it's in round 5 for memory, and I'll just actually double check that now. I don't want to give out false information. It is in round 5, and that they're versing Penrith Panthers in round 3. I am so close to going Sam Walker to Dewey now. I just am not the type of person to rage trade, even though that is my YouTube name. It's a part of it. I'm really just trying to sit back and hold. And I think what will happen is if Sam Walker has an average game this week and Dewey actually comes out and blinds the game and just goes on an absolute tear, I will be more than happy to go Sam Walker to Dewey. I don't think a lot of people will have the luxury of doing that if they're not a Sam Walker owner, because they'll have the Nico Hines already. They'll have the Nathan Cleary already. So that's another avenue for me, and I would definitely boost for that. Now with Purdue, I think there's two main reasons that I'm holding Purdue, and I'm really surprised people are not looking at this more like mathematically and safely. There's no doubt that Braden Trindle and Cody Walker are far superior so far in terms of points and in terms of their price and valuation to compare to what they've scored. That's completely fine. Purdue has an amazing ceiling. He also can have a very low floor. He's also in a Cowboys team that you don't know who's going to turn up that week for that team. But the question, or the move people are making now is, do I go Cody Walker or do I go Braden Trindle? Now, you're very brave if you go both. Go for it if you want to do that. A lot of people trading out Peasant. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's a position we should really go for unless we get an absolutely massive game again from both of these 5/8, but I still don't agree with it. What I would rather do here is if Purdue or one of my CT dubs looks absolutely awful. Now let's go through a scenario, right? I hold Purdue. I know that I can get the better of Trindle or Walker. So let's say Trindle comes out, drops a 30 or 40, and people are like, uh-oh, that's a bit scary. But then Cody Walker comes out and drops a 70. Well, it's pretty easy. If a center drops from my team, like Chester in round 3, maybe Zach Laybutt is back, I predict that they will lose to the West Tigers, and I predict that there's a high chance Chester will leave the team. Well, it's easy. If Purdue gets a 60-70, I just go, boom, Purdue down to Chester's spot, and guess who comes in? the 5/8, which I know is going to make money. Now, if I go someone to Trindle now or someone to Cody Walker now, I'm essentially giving myself a 50-50 chance that one of these 5/8s are going to do better, one of these 5/8s are going to do worse, and why would I want to be on that stick? Now, again, the counter argument is you're trying to get ahead of the competition, you're trying to attain points. But again, South against Sydney, I think Sydney Roosters are going to win this game. I'll be really, really surprised. The reason is, and I'm sorry if you're a South fan, is just because one, Robert Toyer is back. I think he's going to be essential to this game. Two, I just think the halves injury is going to be really, really hurtful for South. But again, I could be wrong. If Sydney Roosters go 0-2, people will be laughing and being like, well, that's why you don't get DCE. The media will go crazy. So again, no guarantee. But in terms of Purdue, yeah, that's how I'm going to attack it. Sam Walker, I have no issue as well going Jesse Colquhoun down to a Couchman if that's the play next week or someone. Banking that, I already have, by the way, $149,100 in my salary. And that can be an avenue to a Hines, or it can be an avenue to a Nathan Cleary if he absolutely went ballistic. And I'm like, okay, I've just got to get Cleary. So that's how I'm attacking it. Again, KL Iro could do absolutely awful. I don't want to lose a lot of money. He might ship out. Purdue comes down again. That's exactly why I got Purdue, because Purdue wasn't necessarily the right 5/8 pick, but he gave me coverage in the CTW position because things could go haywire with a Chester, even with Makasini. Like, imagine if West Tigers lose. Makasini has a bit of an iffy game. A lot of people expected better due to his preseason challenge, or his form, sorry. Everyone was like, yep, he's a sure thing. All of a sudden, West Tigers lose. He's out. This is more coverage. Now, the chances of that, very small, but it is a possibility. So that's how I'm attacking it. I'm really, really curious to see how Carrigan is going to go tonight. Again, I did say to you that I want in my flex where Carrigan is, someone who I can branch out into any position and just go to with 636,000. I can go to a Ponga. I'm not going to go to a Turbo because of the buy, but I can go to a Ponga if he looks absolutely amazing. That's just a shoe-in trade. Again, it could be any other 2RF. It could be a Couchman who still doesn't, I don't think looks crazy good based off like minutes and like the game we saw. He scored a lot of points in that extra time. So there's a lot of things. And actually, honestly, with you guys, being completely honest, I think Isaiah Yeo got 59 minutes in the game against Brisbane. I don't know if that's just because they were dominating. And if they are dominating and he comes off for a rest, that's a really big worrying sign for me. I would rather someone that's going to make me money and has a bit higher ceiling rather than the consistency. But we will live with that for now and we'll monitor that. Again, we also have to look at people in the front row forward, but with Trey Mooney, Kolomatung, and Arama Howe, it's really hard for me to look at someone like Paseka. But in saying that, they have the round 3 bye, which means I can look at it in round 4 as well. Again, I'm really, really happy with my cheapies, and I think they're just allowing me to monitor things a bit more. So super stoked with that. And it's just like, I think we'll find out in the next 2 rounds who the go-to fullbacks are. There'll be a shoe-in. There'll be someone that we might miss or we overextend for. One thing I did last season with Clint Gutherson is I chased the points and it completely flopped in my face, so I'm not going to try and do that this season, but we'll monitor that. And I think Turbo could be in for a big one this week, but that's going to be a really interesting game at 4 Pines Park. But again, that's the strategy I'm going with my team. Also, a big monitor and watch on Reed Marnie. I think I'm really worried that West Tigers come out with a bang. Reed Marnie only sits there for 50 to 60 minutes. Sonny Luke comes on. That could be something where I'm like, okay, already people are trading out Reed Marnie, which I think is absolutely insane to me. I don't understand that. He's making you cash. It's a hooker position. Settle down. But go with what you believe in. I've always said go with your gut. I completely forget how to look at like the top 10 trades. Gosh, it's been so long. I feel like I took a massive break. But in regards to trading in at the moment. A lot of people are getting out. Jesse Colhoun, I've given you my reasons why I'm not doing that. 5,800 people are getting rid of Jonah Pezzett. I would say that a lot of people are just getting Cody Walker in their 582 and just not happy with what they've seen with Pezzett. I won't be doing that. I do not understand the Keanu Kinney trade. By golly gosh, they got pumped. He was the only one really doing anything, and he scored a 59. I can't understand why you would be doing that. This feels like kind of like Isaiah Ongi of last season, and a lot of people jumped off at times where they shouldn't have, and they got burnt for it. I think the longer you hold on Keanu Kinney, the better it's going to be for you. Again, just my opinion. A lot of people, again, jumping off Purdue. I think we know why. They're going to Braden Trindle. They're going to Cody Walker. I've given you my reasons for that. And then Reed Marnie as well. Now, in terms of captaincy talk, I will tell you that if you have Reece Walsh, I think it is pretty much close to a must-have that he should be your captain for tonight. You bought him for these specific games. You didn't buy him for last week. You bought him for round 2. You brought him in, for not necessarily round 3, but 4 onwards for, the Dolphins matchup, for the Gold Coast matchup, which is absolutely huge. He's going to be a target of mine coming into round sort of 4, and that's why I'm actually not trying to, jump on the Ponga train or the Turbo train immediately, because I think if people do that, they're going to really miss out on the Reece Walsh train, and I'm hoping he drops down just a tiny bit in cash, but he could pop a 160 tonight. Literally, it's very scary. Parramatta don't have Hopgood, don't have Penasini. Man, oh man, is that scary. So yeah, that's my take on that. Let me go back to this. I still like Payne Haas as a captain if you want to play it safe. I still like them both for vice captaincy options. If it was me, I'm telling you right now, if Reece Walsh is in my team, I'd just be slamming the C on him. I'll just look at the weather quickly. I'm on the Gold Coast, so I think it's fine. Suncorp Stadium weather, because I have been looking at it. It is scheduled to rain. No, Thursday, sorry. So you're completely fine on the weather. Stand front is actually going to be a hot one, which I think is going to work into the favor of the Bronx as well, because Parramatta just seemed very, very tight on defense. Yeah, I'm really curious to see Shibasaki, how he does against this team. He could have an absolutely massive one. Reece Walsh, obviously, Carrigan I'm a bit worried about, because if it's a blowout, he might not score as much. But again, captaincy-wise, Payne Haas, Reece Walsh, do what you want. I would captain Reece Walsh tonight for sure. Vice captaincy is still warranted and something I'm likely to look at. New Zealand versus Canberra, I'm not touching this one. Captaincy wise or vice captaincy wise. Sydney Roosters and Souths, I'm still not doing that at all. I'm leaning towards a vice captaincy on Payne Haas into a Herbie Farnworth captaincy, but I still want to give you as much options as possible. If you want to be really cheeky, maybe a vice captaincy on someone like Adam Dewey against North Queensland. The reason being he scored, or even like a Taylor May, they both had massive scores of 100 plus against North Queensland. If you're someone that doesn't have Haas or doesn't have Walsh, I wouldn't be touching anyone from North Queensland based off how they performed, and also the injury to Scott Drinkwater makes me not want to go there. St. George, Melbourne, I think this will be a lot closer game than what people think. I wouldn't go anyone here, though. Penrith and Sharks, I think it's very viable that you could look at someone like Cleary, but with what we have available this week, I just wouldn't do it. Manly, Newcastle, yes, this is a big gamble, but I think you're looking at maybe a turbo sort of play here. If you really wanted to be like have a potty captain play, I think that'll be very interesting. And then, of course, I think the big one, Dolphins versus Gold Coast, the last game of the week, Herbie Farnworth, you'll see a lot of people maybe captain here. So that's going to be very, very interesting. And make sure, obviously, the hardest thing here is that it's very hard to VC loop in a game where predominantly a lot of people are going to have their captain in the first game of the week. But if you're going to have a vice captaincy on the Broncos, just use one of your Bulldogs players, or potentially just use Brandon Smith if you have him, because you're negating Reed Marnie's score, which shouldn't be too big. So I think that's a viable strat as well, and most probably the better way of doing it, which is something I'm going to be looking at, because I don't think Reed Money might have like a 40-ish 50 in him again. But we'll see. Now, that's my overview of my team. That's my overview of the captains and vice captains I'd be picking. Now, let's just go through quickly the trades, the ins and outs. So the most trades at the moment, I did find it. I am here. Obviously, most traded in is Noah Martin. Who is he being traded in for? Well, this is wild. 5,455 trades for Noah Martin trading out Scott Drinkwater. The biggest one is Jacob Laban to Noah Martin, and then third most is Cooper Bye to Noah Martin. These are all fine trades. The Drinkwater one's interesting. Must be like something where you're just kind of doing a bit of, you're making some money, maybe going Ponga from that or something like that. A lot of people going Ethan Sanders to Atkinson. 4,284 people are going Ethan Sanders to Daniel Atkinson. That to me is interesting. I like it, but I think you could wait a week on it. I still tick it off if you did it, but Ethan Sanders, he got a try, line break. He gets the field goal. It goes to extra time. It might not be a lot of difference, and St. George do have a pretty nice draw coming up as well. I don't think Daniel Atkinson is as an attackive player as what we think compared to Ethan Sanders, but if you look at the St. George draw, they have Parramatta away next week after this Melbourne game, Gold Coast away, North Queensland at home, Manly at home, Souths away. So it's not as bad as you think, and it could work out in your favor, or they could just be sort of sitting with each other and like being 50-50 evens when everything pans out. So completely up to you. A lot of people, as I said, the trade that I was looking, the player that I was looking to trade out, Jesse Colquhoun goes down to Noah Martin. I think this is just going to be a crap ton of Noah Martin ins and outs. People are going to Kalen Ponga from Drinkwater, from Jacob Laban, and Joshua Patson comes in or goes out for Noah Martin as well. So you're seeing a lot of Ponga and Noah ins. The most traded out for the week. So at the moment, Scotty Drinkwater at nearly 15,000 trades. Jacob Laban then next. Cooper Bye, Daniel Atkinson, Jesse Colquhoun, Pezzett, Jermaine Hopgood because of the suspension. Tino Fa'amasulai at 3,890 trades. Mitchell Moses. Interesting. I did not see that coming. He has a break even of 71 against the Broncos. I guess people are just really dodging how much he's going to lose in cash if they get absolutely slaughtered tonight. And ironically, Miles Martin now comes out from $201,400, 2,812 trades. Comes out as the 10th most traded. That's pretty funny. The most traded in, Noah Martin, 45,886 trades. That's insane. Nearly 14,000 trades for Ponga. Then we got Moses Leo, Ethan Sanders, Suafar Logo, 8,273 trades. I don't agree with that. I think you can wait one more week. I think a lot of people thinking that Melbourne are going to just dominate St. George. Again, I could be wrong, but I think you could wait one more week on Suafar Logo. Braden Trindle, 6,697 trades, and Cody Walker there with Trey Mooney. Latrell Mitchell. Wow, people are trading in Latrell Mitchell. Interesting. 4,062 trades there, and number 10 is Helam Luki. And they're your top 10 trade-ins of the week. There it is. Before the games start, just a bit of insight. And if you have any questions, just pop them into the YouTube video. I'll get back to you. If you're happy with your team, good luck. It's going to be a big watch this week. It's going to be a big watch tonight because it could punish a lot of people. And I think the Reece Walsh pick could absolutely bring a lot of people back into the game. So good luck to like my boy Timmy Williams and others who have Reece Walsh. Chuck the C on him and pray for the best. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Comment, like, subscribe on YouTube, and of course on audio podcasts. 5-star review would be greatly appreciated. Wolfie here from the Rage Traders, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Good luck.